Good morning. This is Isabel Starck coming to you live from Toronto for the Empower Hour. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm actually doing two things at once. Yes, I am. I'm periscoping live with my community down here in this area. So if I keep looking down, that's actually where I'm looking, because what happens with Periscope is people can chat who are watching live. They can ask you questions. Hi there. Edie, nice to meet you, nice to see you. So they actually chat live and you can interact with them that way. So if you haven't heard too much about Periscope, I'm going to be sharing a lot more about that on my Facebook page and I'm putting together a list of tips and tricks to use while periscoping. So welcome. Thanks for the hearts. Yes, hearts are the way that people tell you that they like what you're hearing or what they're hearing, and what you're saying and what you're showing. So thank you. Hearts are loved, hearts are loved. So today, sorry about that, I just had to kind of reposition here. It's looking at two screens is a little bit odd. I have to get used to this. Lots of love, thank y'all. So first and foremost, what I want to do is I want to invite our guest who's going to come on live. Yes, two screens. I'm on live on Google Hangouts right now, which is my Empower Hour episode, and I'm also periscoping, so I have two screens available to me. So forgive me for looking down if I am or looking away from your screen. So I'm going to invite Stepha LaFond, who is a lifestyle and success coach. I'm just going to invite her quickly, and we'll get started with my intro first, and then I will start in on the interview part of the episode. So excuse me while I do this here. Invite. Here we go. Oops. All right, so she should be invited there. I'm going to do a backup to her as well, just to be certain. Thank you guys for your patience. Appreciate that. All right, okay, I'm going to take a look there. I'm not sure if I actually typed that in right. So let me just quickly, I got to make sure that we're inviting her properly. So thank you guys for your patience. I hope everybody's been having a great week. It is hump day. There it is. Okay. Okay, so Stepha should probably be joining us live soon. But until she does, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the week and what's been going on. And yeah, so first of all, let's just kind of center in. You guys just saw me take a nice deep breath. It's really grounding when you're able to do that. Just to kind of really reconnect with yourself, reconnect with Mother Earth, reconnect with everything that's going on in your life. So first and foremost, I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing your time with me. I know how precious our time is, and for you to actually spend some time with me today I'm very grateful for that. I really hope that I'm able to serve you with any questions that you might have, or any things that might come up for you that you have a question about, or maybe something that you hear is going to inspire you to do something more in your life. So that's what I'm really here to do. I believe the best in everybody is just kind of waiting to come out, myself included. So I hope that we can all be on this journey together, and I'm here for you. So for those of you who are periscoping, I will keep looking down and seeing if you have any questions and try to answer those live. And for those of you who are actually watching on YouTube, if you'd like to ask a question, what you'll need to do is you'll need to join the conversation. So there'll be a box down here at the bottom. It's a rectangle. And you just need to press on that box that says join the conversation. It will link you back to the Google Plus screen where you're watching me live, basically this screen. And then to ask a question, just a little tip here because the questions go quick. We need more from Toronto on board. Yay! Use the hashtag when you can. Absolutely. You're not getting the invite. Okay, thank you very much for that message. Please double check. I sent it to 2 emails, so please take a look. I'm gonna try it again. I know there was a little bit of delay with the last interview I did last week, so I will send over another email. Okay. Sending again, trying again. So as I was mentioning, let me see, lost my train of thought. Where was I? I was just thanking you guys about being present and being here, and about answering your questions and being live. That's where I was. So if you do have a question and you would like to join the conversation within the Google Plus screen, please type in follow the join the conversation. And once you get to the Google Plus screen, in the upper right-hand corner, I believe it's this side or this side, I think it's this side, you'll see 9 squares. Hover over that, and then you'll see the Q&A app. So the Q&A app, if you select that, a sidebar will open up, and you can type in your question live. So I'll be able to see it and go from there. So let's see. I'm going to quickly come out of here, make sure this is all working properly. Sorry about that. Hi guys. Yes, so I will begin using the hashtag Toronto in my Periscopes. Thank you very much for that tip. I haven't been doing it, and I know that there's rarely anybody on in Toronto, so I really hope that we get more activity here as we deserve it. So yeah, until Stepha does join us, I want to tell you guys a little bit about myself and what it is that I do and what brought me to this stage of coaching. So my name, as I mentioned, is Isabel Starck, and I'm a empowerment and business coach. I have over 20 years in just business. I'm an optician by trade. I have actually, let me just close this screen here. Sorry about that. I'm an optician by trade. I've owned multiple businesses, one with my husband. We actually have a car business. You've seen me probably Periscope about that before. We had a 1968 Shelby in the house the other day, and we're running a GT3 Cup Challenge. So it's all for the car enthusiasts. I have two boys, and my youngest son is just 2.5. And it was really when he came that I really started to notice that my desire was to really help people with the gifts that I had. And when I learned about coaching, what coaching was, it seemed like they were describing me to a T. That just being present for people and really helping people see their best qualities and actually merging those in together to make a successful and a rewarding business for them. So that is what I do. And if you'd like to get more information, my website is coming soon. It's isabelstarck.com, and that's ISABELSTARCK. Oh, just as you see it down here, .com. And please feel free to join there. I have a Facebook group that I started beginning of this year, and we have about almost 1,500 members. It's pretty active. We host live events around the world. We have a really great community in Brisbane, in Singapore, New York, here in Toronto, Calgary, Portland. Those are the ones that are coming to mind right now. London as well. And just talked to someone the other day regarding hosting one in Milan. So I am so excited about Milano because it's a place that I used to visit frequently in my eyewear business. And yeah, I really love being able to go back there when I can. And now I actually have a purpose to go back there is even better. So hope you guys can watch for that. So if you guys are watching on Periscope Live, anything that you like, you know, hearts. Hearts is how you share your love. and you tell people that you like what it is that is coming. So I'm going to double check again about the email for the invite on our special guest, Stepha LaFond. So I'm just getting a message here that she's not receiving an email, which is very strange. So let me see again. Thank you all for your patience. I really appreciate this. I'm just going to shift this screen over, make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, very interesting. This is not coming. Yeah, Stepha, that's exactly the email that I'm using. So I'm going to try it again. It's actually having me click on your email and not just your Google Plus screen. So we will try this. I'm actually going to select both. We'll get it. No worries. I know it did take Sam a little time last week to get on, so okay. Here we go. All right, so hopefully that worked. Alrighty, so let's take a look. So Stepha, if you are watching, what you might need to do is actually close out your Google Plus screen, completely shut down, and then log back in. There might be some kind of issues with that, so take a look at that. Okay, so where are we? We are, let's see, second half of the year. Some things that have been going on in my life recently, this week's actually been really amazing. An interview that I did just went live with Who Are You Marketing TV. I think I shared that with you guys last week that I had come off of that. So that was really exciting to actually see it live. It was a little bit different to be on the other side of the camera, because typically I'm the one who's actually speaking to you and kind of leading the conversation. To have someone else lead and just kind of be relaxed. It was actually really kind of nice. So I really enjoyed it. I really want to say thank you to Yanchi Wilson, who contacted me to be interviewed, and I really hope that her business begins to take off and continues to flourish. So thank you again, Yanchi. If you're interested in actually seeing that interview, I have posted it on my Facebook page and also in the Fiercely Feminine Entrepreneur group, which you can access. So let's take a look again, see if Stepha is able to connect. Sorry, I'm just kind of going back and forth, seeing when she's actually connecting. Okay, so not seeing invite, still no email. Very, very strange. Okay. Well, we'll just keep going, right? So for those of you, again, watching through Periscope, that's why I keep diverting my eyes down, is we're watching through Periscope. Thank you very much. Love the hearts. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So Periscope, what is Periscope? Actually, if you don't know what Periscope is, I'll share with you guys a little bit. It's a new social media app, not so new. It started, I think, hit the market like in March of this year. And it's run through Twitter. Again, what is my business? I'm actually an empowerment and business coach. So I help people get their businesses off the ground, or get them off the ground, or actually get them out of their blocks, because we all have blocks in our business, whether it's selling blocks or self-confidence blocks. Money blocks is a really huge one that I see come up a lot. So yeah, I help people kind of excavate those and give them strategies to build their business. So thank you guys for joining. Nice to see you here. Nice to see you. If you like what you're hearing, please give me the hearts. You know it's all about hearts on Periscope. So thanks again for joining on. Okay, so what is Periscope? Again, Periscope is a social media app that allows people to kind of peer in and see the world through your eyes. I'm actually using it today as more of a business tool, and I'm able to broadcast my Empower Hour through Periscope. So really excited to have, this is the first time I'm doing it, so really excited to have them on live. And again, if they have any questions, they can please check out my website. All my details are there on my website. And my website is, for those of you on Periscope, it's isabelstarck.com, ISABELSTARCK.com. And that will be launching actually this week. We got some details coming up, and all my details will be there. So one of the great things about Periscope is people can join from all over the world. So when you connect to Periscope, you can actually take a look at who's live throughout the world. Like literally you scan out, you scroll over, you see people in Australia, people in Asia, and you can just click on that and see. And one of the things that I really like to ask is where all of my viewers are from, chiming in from, because I typically get people from all over the world. I mean, I've had Brazil, London, United Arab Emirates, Singapore, I mean, endless places all over the world. It's so awesome to be able to connect with people live, and yeah, just to really be able to experience life through someone else's eyes. A lot of people use it also for personal, and say, you're going to Disneyland for the first time, or your baby is turning 1, so you want to share it with the world and sing happy birthday to them. So that is what Periscope, I think, is great for. And like I said, I'm using it today to kind of broadcast my Empower Hour. And I hope, yes, from Toronto, I hope they the stream. Quickly take a look and see if Stepha has been able to join us yet. Really apologize about this. Sorry for the delay. We just, you never know what you're going to run into with technology nowadays, right? I know that the last time, video embed page, okay. The last time we had somebody join in live, there was a little bit of a delay as well. So I'm going to open up search. All right, so I see 2 viewers. One looks like Stepha. Here we go. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's just a delay on that, Stepha. I'm going to, Just by joining the link, Stepha, does that actually help? Like actually seeing the screen? And do you see an option? Okay, let me see. Perfect, so you at least see the screen, so that's great. Let me see if I can open up my, and can watch. Wonderful, wonderful to have you. Okay, I'm just going to minimize the screen quickly. Oh, there we go. Oops. Okay, thank you all for your patience. I'm just trying to connect with our special guest today, which is Stepha LaFond. We're running into a few technical difficulties, but we are going to get through them. So very much. If you have any questions, feel free to type in your question in the chat box, and I'll be able to answer as soon as I get back there. Thank you. All right, so we're going to do this. Paste. We'll quickly see if this link that I've just sent to our special guest has worked. So he should be joining soon. All right, let me adjust this. I'm going to find my screen again. Hey guys, I'm just trying guest today for here. On. Okay, you're on, and what's so funny is I've done something to the screen where I can't locate it. So. You guys hear that feedback? Sorry about that. There we go.
Can you hear me?
All right. I can hear you. How are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm actually, this is really, really funny. You're going to crack up. Our technical difficulties have delivered my screen somewhere in outer space, because I can't.
I see you, though. I see you perfectly fine.
Okay, perfect. Well, you know what?
You look good.
I do have one here, so I'm going. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. You're so sweet. So
I'm gonna jump on.
You know. Oh, there I am.
Huh?
There I am. I came up live again.
Okay, good.
So thank you so much for
just to invite people.
This way that we can actually have both connected. Now.
Okay, you froze on me. Hello? Hello? I can't hear you.
There you are. Okay. I guess I was, the connection must have been lost.
Yeah.
So if we get into any feedback issues.
So hopefully we got some more people on.
Okay.
Cool.
Super. Oh, she just shared. Great. So that's what I was going to invite our listeners to do, that if you guys are listening on Periscope and you'd like to invite your friends, all you got to do is point down here to the little person, you scroll over and you hit share where all of your peeps are at. So welcome. I hope you guys enjoy this. You're not going to be able to see Stepha, the positioning of the camera, and that would be a little awkward for me. But maybe next time I'll be able to set it up where you guys can actually view both. So thanks again, all of you guys for the hearts and for joining us live. So, Stepha, welcome. So wonderful to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure. So first of all, I want to tell everybody a little bit about you. So yeah, look at the hearts, Stepha. You're getting some hearts, girl.
Hey everybody. I don't know if I can be on Periscope at the same time. I don't know. I think it might be like too much technology going on.
Yeah, that might be a lot. That might be a lot.
So we're gonna leave it for a bit.
So all right. Well, my Periscope, we share it.
Okay, awesome.
Her sound is terrible. Yes. If you would like to, okay, for those of you who are on Periscope and you would really like to watch Stepha, the easiest thing to do if you want to watch live and watch her actually is to go to the Google Plus page. And I believe if you just type in Google Isabel Starck Empower Hour, choose episode 9, and it'll take you directly to where Stepha is live right now and talking to us. So yeah, I hope you can watch that live. If not, I really apologize. This is the first time I'm doing this on Periscope, and I didn't know some of the difficulties that we might have, but I definitely think that the sound is one of them. So
do you hear me okay, Isabel, or are they not hearing me?
They're not hearing you. So I'm actually going to turn down the volume. Maybe that'll help. But I'm hearing you perfectly.
Okay. All right.
This is good. This is good. It's all good. So again, I want to share with you guys about Stepha LaFond. So Stepha and I met, it's almost going to be a year now. We had joined a certification course together. And yeah, just, her energy, her vibe, the fact that she had a little one and so did I, there was just like this instant connection. And I just really want to say that it's been great knowing you and just getting to know you even better. and, you know, being able to kind of share our experiences and through our journey. And one of those journeys is obviously motherhood, and the other one is coaching. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about her and ask her a few questions. If you guys have any questions that you'd like for me to ask her, you can either type them in the Periscope box, which I'm happy to ask, or also in the Empower Hour Q&A section. So I'll be checking that. Actually, I should probably open that now in case somebody is there. Let's go here. Q&A. Perfect. So Stepha is a lifestyle and success coach passionate about helping women create the life they have always desired and stop settling for the good enough life. Her mission is to help drop overwhelm and guilt and boldly step into their magnificence. I love that. That's right on with Stepha. So, you know, as I mentioned to you a little bit ago, you know, Steph and I have known each other for about a year. We have collaborated on a few things, and one of those things is actually she's a part of my Facebook group, which I was sharing with you a little bit earlier as we were trying to connect Stepha. And my Facebook group is Fiercely Feminine Entrepreneur, and Stepha has actually hosted a couple of events in New York as an ambassador for Fiercely Femme. And yeah, this is where we kind of, as women, we kind of get together and we share some of the sometimes struggles, a lot of the successes that we're having in our business. So yeah, I think I'm going to let you give your little synopsis of your introduction and let people know what it is that you do, what you do in the community, and then I have a few questions for you today. So we'll just kind of let it go from here. So welcome, Stepha.
Okay, thanks, Isabel. Thanks for having me on. And as you mentioned, I am a lifestyle and success coach. And can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I got to remind myself. I have two screens here, and somebody asked a question if we have a Fiercely Femme event, a monthly event in LA. We don't have one in LA yet, but if you're interested in helping host one, please find me at fiercelyfeminine.entrepreneur.com on the Facebook group, or at isabelstarck.com, and I'd be happy to send you the information and get you started, because we have a lot of sisters from our certification that we're in that are in the LA area, and a lot of them have actually asked about it, but no one's really taken it on yet. So if you're interested, contact me. I'd be happy to see you. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I just wasn't sure if you were mouthing off to me, so I'm going to go now. But yes,
I'm not mouthing off to you. I'm not mouthing off to you.
My passion is to really help women be and feel like their best selves. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times when I run into women, and I'll share with them what experience I have, whether it was when I was pregnant and motherhood, or now in my business, and it's always been, people who want, people want some of that stuff. They want to have success. They want to start their own business, or they want to feel more confident in what it is that they're doing, yet they just feel like somehow it's not available for them. Like, well, I could never do that. Oh, Stepha, you're so brave. And it's through hearing those things that I'm just like, I've had over the years lots of conversations with people, and that's why I was interested in being a coach, is really like, hey, you can do that, and let me help you show you how, and let me help show you how you can do it for yourself, and how you can create that life that you want. A lot of times, some of the clients I've worked with is that they're in a job and they're like it, they're getting by, right? So they're almost scared to rock the boat, because like, well, it's pretty good, right? So I'm like, okay, is this what you absolutely want to wake up and do every day? Well, no, I kind of like this. So what people end up doing is, like, they have a side job, or they have like this nothing wrong with direct sales, but I know women that are like addicted to direct sales. They go this one to this one to this one, and it's almost like it's a safe way to be an entrepreneur, a safe way to do something they kind of like, but not jumping in all the way. So there's a lot of that. That's what I deal with the women that I work with, is what is it that you want? And funny enough, a lot of them don't know. They're like, well, I think, and I might, and whatever. And to help them get to that, really finding your voice and finding what those 2 or 3 things that are the overall defining things that you want in your life. Because when you find those things, that's when you're able to then not only just own it, and you're so much more confident, and everything just starts flowing in your life, in your relationship, in your friendship. So I work a lot on the mindset. So really beating down those little monsters in your head that are telling you, no, you can't, and that's not going to work, and it doesn't sound right. So that's one of my biggest focuses. Like, no matter what you're coming to me from, because I say lifestyle, because there's a specific lifestyle that I'm promoting as far as being empowered, being unapologetic, really being free to be the person that you are. But a lot of different things fall into that bucket. So no matter what you're coming into me for, I always work on the mindset. So it's like, what is it that you've been telling yourself? What are the stories that you're telling yourself about why you can't have X, Y, Z? And we really dig deep down to figure out what that is. And then I also work on setting boundaries, which is something, again, no matter what you come to me for, there's probably some boundaries just going on. And so, and the other thing I really work on is defining what good looks like for you and getting you to the steps. Like, let's help you be realistic about what you want, and B, like, let's focus on exactly how we're going to get there. So let's take the overwhelm out of it. Take the, well, I want that. It sounds good, but it's for somebody else. Those lucky other people, and really helping you step into that and move forward in your life. So that's my passion, and that's what I do in my coaching.
So it really sounds to me like that's pretty much your definition then of success, because that was one of my questions, is what is your definition of success? And I think you just hit the nail right on the head with the, I'm just sorry, I'm kind of looking down at the Periscope screen, so sorry, guys.
Okay, I don't mind.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. See, we are multitasking mamas.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, so, my definition of success and your definition of success, it just seems about, really being able to master that part of your life, master the fact of the overwhelm, because we all at some point will get it, and, and elaborate on what it is that you were doing, and how it is that you're now helping to shape the women who you're helping and coaching to be able to create mastery in their life.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. So I have a few questions that I always ask my list or my guests, and I wanted to share with you. I mean, some of them are kind of fun. So this one is really kind of honing in on your biggest fear. So, biggest fears we can have. You could be afraid of spiders, or afraid of heights, or I recently came across somebody who was afraid to give birth, and she was, 38 weeks pregnant. So just wondering if you have any biggest fears that you've been able to overcome, and how you were able to overcome them.
All right, because you brought birth up, I'm going to share kind of like my story with you. And one of the things that I do work on is I work with moms and really like finding your power in motherhood, or even in birth. So what was the biggest fear? I think there's a lot, and you're from Canada, so I don't know if it's a little different, but in our culture, especially in the US, there's this, pregnancy is this big scary thing. You see it in the movies, you hear that it hurts, you hear that you're going to be sick, you're going to be fat, all these things. And I think for many, many years, especially, when I was still younger and not quite ready for a family, that's how I viewed it, right? And then eventually my lifestyle changed. I became very into my health for different, for reasons I actually needed to. And I really became more of a holistic lifestyle person. And when I got pregnant a few years back, it was one of those things like, okay, I had heard of like natural birth. I'm like, oh, that sounds cool, okay. But like home births intrigued me, but I was so scared of them because I was like, I thought I was going to bleed to death. I'm just like, what if I bleed to death? Like, that's a very scary proposition. So, but I was like, I really want to do natural. So I ended up going to a birth center. And I signed up with them. I was so excited. I got my husband all riled up, and we're like, we're totally going to do this. Until they told me no. They denied me because I had a pre-existing condition. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was just like devastated, like, oh my God, and now I'm gonna have to go to the hospital, and that's not what I wanted to do. And my husband was like, well, what about this home birth stuff that we saw in the video? And I'm like, oh, like, that's like scary shit. Oh, sorry. That's like scary stuff, dude. Like,
it's all right.
I was like, no, I don't think so. So he's like, no, just give it a try. And it was so funny because he had never even, like 2 weeks before, never knew about any of that stuff. But he was just like, well, you know, you might as well try it. And as luck would have it, you know, I did some research. And I had researched before, but again, I took myself out of that game because it was like just a little too scary for me. So I ended up researching. I found the midwife. And from just the second I walked in there, I really trusted her. And that was the feeling I was looking for all along. But that didn't make the process any easier. So I still had these questions lingering. I still was like, oh my God, what if something goes wrong? And what if I go to the hospital? What if I bleed to death? Because that was like, and it really wasn't until the last, I would say, through probably 4 weeks before delivery, 3 to 4 weeks, because I had this thing, like, there was a hospital, because you have to have a backup hospital when you have a home birth, and she trusted that hospital. She told me about it. She was like, it's actually one of the best hospitals in New York, blah, 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 blah. But I was just, I have to go visit, and I have to do this, and I have to do that. And she's like, okay, if you want to. But in my head, like, I had to, like, feel secure. And it wasn't until I let go of that fear that I actually was able to relax and really have the experience that I wanted all along, which was just a peaceful, well-supported birth. And it really was all in my head. It was all in my head, like, what could go wrong? What if this and what if that? And it just, this happens in a lot of things. You know, I talk to my clients a lot about fear, but fear is something, like, you're not going to just conquer it, right? You're just going to do something brave and it's going to stop, right? Your fear is going to come up and it's going to show up in your face on the regular basis. Because if you're not feeling a little bit of fear, probably weekly, I would say, you're not taking enough chances. You have to be able to be like, okay, I'm going to take a stand for this, and even if it's a little scary and you get those palpitations, just go ahead and do it, because chances are half of it is all in your head. It's all in your head, and when you get through that, you're like, oh, okay, what was I so scared about again? Like, I had an experience this week that it was so silly. I was holding on to something that I was scared about, and it didn't even make sense when I did it, but that's my thing. So my biggest fear was, like, doing the home birth. And, I actually, was able to get into reality and really be like, okay, what's the worst that could really happen? And why are you so scared? And kind of like banishing those fears and letting go and trusting. And how I did that was surrounding myself with affirmations. I literally had affirmations posted all around my house. Like, some of them were like hanging on a string, just like posted up, because it was a constant reminder that everything would go right, because that is the normal, the way the universe works, is that things will go right and they're set up to go right, and we ourselves create those kind of negative stories. So I hope I didn't go off on a rant, but that's my spiel on fear.
There's no rant. I mean, this is real, right? Like, those are real stories. And I don't think you've actually really shared your birth story with me, so thank you so much. Yeah, everybody's got one, and I really love hearing them, because it's just kind of really puts you, as a mom, it really connects you to that stage or that part in your life when you can really remember going through all these, ups and downs, and it's almost like a little peek into your past. So
yes, no, thank you so much. And I always say, one thing I always say, especially to the moms, I'm like, the way that you handle pregnancy and birth, because it's almost like it's a test, right, of how motherhood, if you are scared of like anything during your pregnancy and birth, like motherhood, there's a lot that's going to come up at you that you are not going to know the answer to necessarily. But when you learn to trust yourself and trust that whatever decision that you make at that particular point is what's right, then you almost like decrease the probability of feeling so guilty and feeling incompetent and a lot of that nasty stuff that comes up when you're a mother, because then that just drags you down into this like never land of just feeling miserable.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, okay, we got a little black spot there. I just kind of, it's just leading to my next question, and just really wondering about, I mean, it might be tied to it, it may not, but you know that I'm a proponent, and I really take a stand for the women who are really trying to better themselves in their life, and to be able to really package up their gifts and their talents, all their experience, and be able to live their best possible life happily. Yep. So I'm just kind of wondering about you, and how did you know, how did you go about knowing and actually putting into action how to live your best possible life?
Yeah, wow, that's a great question, and I'm all about women living their best possible lives as well. So for me, it's been a lot of twists and turns. I would say I was always one of those people that wanted to help. I wanted to make a difference, even from a young age. But when I was younger, I thought that meant being a doctor. Because my dad was a doctor, and that's what he did. And when you're a kid, you're like, oh my God, he's like saving lives and doing all these awesome things. So that's where I started. Like, I want to be a doctor. And then as I got to be like a teenager and during my late teens and seeing kind of like the reality of medicine and the hours that he worked and everything, I'm like, I don't want to do that. And I always I was somebody that no matter who, they would come to me for advice. Like my friends' parents when I was in high school would like ask me for advice. It was pretty funny, and I was just like, I'm gonna study psychology because I'm gonna help people. So that's what I did. I went to college, I studied psychology, even though like in the back of my mind I did not want to be a psychologist. And I actually found out about coaching when I was in college. But again, with the crazy stories that we tell ourselves, so I always like to share my stuff when I'm working with my clients. I like took myself out of that game. I'm like, even though I've had like this crazy, I've had a past where, I've been through some stuff. I could help people, but I was like, no, I'm only like 20-something. Nobody's going to trust, like, who's going to want a 20-something to coach them? So I was just like, no, when I'm older. So I ended up going into corporate America. I had a great job. And so that made it easier, too. I had a great job, awesome benefits, company car, the whole spiel. So I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do this for a while. And then when I'm older and more mature, I'm going to be a coach. And I think the age that I put on myself was 30. And like at 30, slowly approach. And I would still admire people. I remember one time watching Marie Forleo's video, and she was talking about her journey, and I think she was in her 20s when she started her coaching business. And I'm like, really? Crap. Like, I really should have listened to my instinct when I was in my 20s, but whatever. So when I turned 30, I was like, oh, wow. Okay, so 30 is here, huh? What are we going to do about this coaching thing? So it took me a while, and it wasn't until, again, after having my daughter, coaching was always in the back of my mind. I had signed up for different coaching listservs, everything, where, they would send me. I had people call me. I remember at one point, because I am so into health and nutrition, integrative nutrition, I was really looking at them. And becoming a health coach, and they were calling me nonstop. And then there was another coaching program that would constantly email me, constantly have somebody call me, and I still was like, no, I'm not ready. And one day, the coaching program that we both joined, one day I was just like, there's no perfect time. Stop making excuses. Just do it. you're already 30. I think I was 31 by then. I was like, gosh. So like, what's the excuse now? And I do have a lot to offer, and I had done a few things in between. Like I had 2 different blogs, and while I love blogging, it just wasn't quite where my passions were, and it's not quite where I wanted to keep my message. And I mean, I could make so much more impact if I hosted classes, if I did one-on-one work with people, and I decided to just go for it, like drop the excuses and go for it.
So I'm really hearing from you then that you've always wanted to be a coach. You just kind of put these limits on yourself saying, okay, can't do it, I'm too young, no one's gonna want a coach who's like 20. And you just kind of went down your path until you hit the magic number, and the stars aligned for you to actually dive into.
Yeah, and I literally like dropped the excuses. I literally was like, where are you getting these crazy stories from? And it's literally, I was just making it up. Because I know some amazing coaches that are in their 20s, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, clearly that didn't stop you. And most of the knowledge that I have, aside from, obviously, like, with each year you grow, you mature, you learn different things, and you have a different way of approaching things, of approaching life in general. But it doesn't mean that at 20 I didn't have anything to offer my clients. I certainly did, but unfortunately for me, I wasn't saying that, which is, all good. Oops.
That's you.
Yeah.
Which to just kind of tell me a little bit about what you specialize in with. I know you met moms, and you come from Portland, helping people transition. There is probably something big. Oh, I'm hearing something here too. Okay, sorry. I thought something was with my phone. But tell me a little bit about what you specialize in with your clients. Like, what do the people come to you for specifically?
I specialize in helping clients really be more confident in where their life trajectory is. So there's a couple of clients that really come to me. So one is somebody who is working but is looking to kind of branch out, do their own. So they have these ideas, but they're not sure how to implement them. And they see themselves like, okay, I want to do more. Like, I have more to offer the world. And a lot of times it could even be related to the work that they're doing, but they don't want to be stuck in that box working for a particular organization. So, but they are not sure where to start, and they're a little scared of how to start. So I help them by kind of getting them out of their own head and like letting them be like, okay, here are the skills that you have to offer, and yes, your skills are valid, and yes, you can have your own thing, and here's how you can implement that. So helping them really get clear on what they want to start if they're looking to branch out on their own. So I would say, I guess, budding entrepreneur.
So it's really about life coaching, like really about helping them with their life and their next steps.
Yes. So yes, that's why I used to say, I do some business stuff, but I don't get down to the nitty gritty. So somebody who needs like nitty gritty business coaching, like how to do your marketing plan and all that stuff, like that's not me. My stuff is like, I really work on your mindset, because a lot of times that's what's holding people back. That's what they're like, well, I don't think I can do this, and oh my God, how am I going to do this? So we kind of like back things up a little bit and help them get clear on what it is that they want. I help them get clear on their why, and then we come up with what's
the why is a really big one. Just takes me back to one of our recent socials that we had, and that we were discovering our big why. Because at the end of the day, our why is really going to be the only thing that keeps us plugging forward. When we've had, maybe no thank you, your goods, it's your why that's really going to be able to kind of propel you to make that 51st call or that 51st post or whatever it is, and that you don't get crickets.
Absolutely. It's so true. And it's so easy to get discouraged when we're starting anything new. I know for me, it's happened to me in the past too. And I love the example of like, you can like look at a child, right? Any child, whether you have children or you have nieces and nephews, they keep going, especially in those early years when they're like trying different things. Like they're learning to walk, right? How many times do they fall? Oh my God. And they just get up and they keep going. And that's a lesson to us, because I think you have to like almost connect to that inner 1-year-old and be like, okay, I'm just going to get up and keep going. Because there's another option. What are you just going to not walk because you fell once or you fell 10 times? Just keep going, because you know what? You get better each time. There's this quote like, ever try, ever fail, fail again, fail better. And you have to not be fearful of failing, because when each fail comes, you know, you learn something new, you get that lesson. So take that lesson from that failure and keep going. And there's no guarantee that you're not going to fail again. So keep failing, and before you know it, it's going to be like, oh.
I love it. Keep failing / Stepha LaFond.
Yes.
Or another one that we've actually heard in our courses is also failing forward.
Fail forward.
And to kind of hold ourselves back if we're just so afraid of the fear, the risk that we're actually taking. But by taking that little step, and failing, you're actually at least failing closer to your goal, as opposed to failing by not even taking action.
Yes, and it's so much better to have tried something and have failed, because at least you tried, right? Because you learn. So every time I try something and it's just not quite right, you just go back to the drawing board and you do something else. But we really have to combat those fears of failure, of what other people would think. Again, like that mindset stuff. So that's a lot of what I work on. I also work on boundaries. So another thing, people come to me, I can't get anything done. I don't even have the time. If you don't have the time to do something, you probably don't have any boundaries. And as women, we tend to take the whole world on our back. So we got our husbands over here, our kids over there, we got our friends, our parents, and we're going to do it all. We're going to save them. And we end up not having time for ourselves, not really doing a good job at the stuff that we're doing to save them, because we're so exhausted. So I work with my clients on really being like, what are those things that really must get done, and what is some of the BS stuff, right? What is the stuff that you're saying, yes, I can, yes, I'm going to do it, yes, friend, and being so scared to say no? Why are you so afraid to say no to somebody? If your schedule is full, why are you squeezing one more thing? Let's get some stuff off of your schedule, and let's get you feeling in a way where oh, this is a great day. Instead of being like, oh my God, I have to do this. Oh my God, and then you don't have time because you overbooked yourself, and then you feel awful, and half the time you spend time thinking about what you aren't doing, so you get even less done. So I'm all about setting those boundaries, and then you can set a schedule, because when people talk about time management, it's almost always a boundary issue. You're not managing your time because you're not setting boundaries on your time. So that's I would say one of the biggest things.
With time and management that we're talking about, it kind of brings me to my next question as to, because I'm also conscious of the time. We're looking at about 7 more minutes to go on the.
Yes.
So I would love
to for 20 minutes. Yeah.
Any tips that you have, or any tools that you actually use, that you implement to help keep you, organized, or that contribute to your success. So would you like to share with our viewers anything specifically that you currently use?
Yes. So my biggest one would be your calendar. So really looking at your calendar and being realistic about how much something takes you. So you might think it takes half an hour, when in reality it takes you an hour and a half to do something. So I color code my calendar, so that way I know, okay, from this time block, I'm usually doing this. So I have usually 4 color codes. So I have work, I have things specifically for my daughter, my own stuff, and social events.
So how do you stick to it, though? Because it's great to create a calendar and color code it, and it looks great, but if you're not sticking to it, how do you?
I'm constantly changing it. So I do look at it every week, because I remember when I first created my calendar and first starting kind of like looking at stuff, it was so easy for me to dismiss it, especially when you have something that's electronic. You're like, yeah, whatever. Google notification, click, okay, thank you. But what I do is I'm constantly revising it, because I do have to be, and I'm revising it, and I allow myself fluidity. So I can easily look at the calendar, but okay, this is not going to work. So the things that I absolutely need to do are in red. So that's a fifth category. Something that needs to get done today is in red. And those things I almost always get to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And speaking of the things to do today, I mean, I'm sure you've probably seen it in the group, and I will ask you at the end, is just really about having these specific tasks that you need to get accomplished at the end of the day to really feel, number one, accomplished, number two, maybe either your doctor appointment for your daughter that really needs to get done. They're basically kind of like non-negotiables.
Yes.
So it's good to hear that you actually do those in red.
Yes, it's in red. And at one point I wasn't having it. I was just putting it in the categories. But I recently, actually in the last 2 weeks, went back and changed stuff around my calendar. And it's like, okay, this has to get done. So that way I know that it's going to get done. And those things also do a pop-up on my iPhone. So they pop up and I'm like, okay, doing that right now. And I live fluidity.
That's actually a good tip, because if you don't set the reminder on your iCal, you're not going to get that notification. So that's another tip that you do with the iPhone, is to make sure that you set a notification, an alarm, I think is what they call it. So it actually comes up.
Absolutely. So that's what I do. But I also, like I said, leave some room for flexibility, especially as a mother.
Yeah.
You have to be a little bit flexible, because a lot of times things are not going to go perfect your way, and you have to be okay with that, and just know, like, if you're doing the top 2 or 3 things, that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. Like, it doesn't have to be this like full schedule and must get everything done. Absolutely.
Very cool. So your iCalendar. So that's one thing. Any other tips or any tools that you use?
I use Evernote a lot, and I write notes, I do voice messages, all that stuff, because it's hard to get everything organized sometimes when it's all in your head. So as soon as something gets in my head, I just type away at Evernote, or just leave myself a voice note to kind of get that done and have it organized in a way, because I can be like, oh, which notebook did I put it in? My notebook, sometimes I'm like, where did I write this? So Evernote, it's all on my phone and it's connected to my computer. So that's my kind of like go-to for organizing stuff.
Very cool. Well, you and I actually use both the same tools, and I did get your Evernote work chat, which was really cool. It's the first time I ever used that. So that was it's a great tool to use, and I have to second you on that. Calendar and Evernote are really wonderful. Yeah. So we're down to the last few minutes. I wanted to ask you a couple more questions. First of all, I just want to let everybody know that I'm going to be putting up the details to contact Stepha in the description of the event on YouTube and also on Google+. And the last couple things I want to ask you is, for those of you who are listening and are interested in actually hiring a coach, I wanted who are looking to actually hire a coach. Like, what do you suggest that they look for?
What do I suggest to look for? Okay, so if you're looking to hire a coach, then you really have to do a couple of things. So see if their message resonates with you, right? Like, what is this person saying? Is that something, are their values resonating with your values, right? And you also have to check, what is it that they're offering? Because sometimes you might like somebody, but if what they're offering is not necessarily what you want with what you need help with, then it doesn't really make sense for you to go ahead and coach with them. And I also think you have to be open to having that initial discovery session. Like, you always have to talk to them. Like, you have to have a conversation, come to the table, be like, this is what I'm looking for, and explain, tell the coach, how could you help me with that? Because there's a lot of coaches out there, and it can sometimes get a little confusing, but you almost always know there's that one person that something in them resonates with you. So if they resonate with you, don't be scared to like hop on a chat with them. Just be like, you know, send them an email or get on their calendar. Be like, I just wanted to do a discovery call, or you know, whatever they're calling a clarity session, to explain to them what is it that you're looking for, and see if that's going to be a good fit. And don't be afraid to, don't get too, you know, overwhelmed, like interviewing this coach, that coach, because I think people can get into that too. But interview about probably three or four, because you can tell you can get that feeling from a conversation or from their initial interaction if something's going to work for you. But I absolutely, you know, do a little bit of research, but don't go too crazy. I would say limit it to 3 people, 3 choices that whether you're on their website reading their copy, or if you attended a call that they did or something is resonating with you, then do that. Because for me, when I got my coach, it was something that they said that resonated with me. And even before, I had other coaches I had spoken with or whatever, but even before getting on the phone with her, I knew that was going to be the coach for me. So,
awesome. Well, that's a great tip. Thank you very much for sharing that with our viewers. And 1 o'clock, there's one last question in, and that is actually what your big plans are for the remaining part of the year. So we're in July, we've got half the year to go. And I've introduced something in our Fiercely Feminine Entrepreneur group that's called the TTD, which is your top to do. And I would love for you to actually share what your top to do is for 2015.
My top to do for 2015 would be to release my course. So I am planning on doing a course, because I've done some of the one-on-one stuff and I do enjoy it, but I feel it's so empowering, and there's that energy that happens when women are doing stuff collectively. And I have this big desire to have a course sometime in the fall, probably the middle of the fall, to release that and really help women come together in a community ready to take a stand for themselves, ready to move past fear, past overwhelm, and really see what's possible when they say yes to themselves.
Very cool. So have you brainstormed any names for that course yet, or? You don't have to share if you don't want to. I'm just kind of prying a little bit. That's what I do.
Wow, because I'm going back and forth whether I want to do it with just moms, or if I want to do it, open it up to just women who are just ready to take a leap forward. I was playing with the name Fierce and Fearless, because that's been one of my top things. So Fierce, Fearless, something else, but I just have to figure out if I'm going to stick with that or if I'm going to go in a whole nother direction. But it's coming.
Very cool. Well, for all of our viewers, you guys can actually find Stepha at the details that are posted below, either on the YouTube site or on the Google Plus site. Also, we are both in the Fiercely Feminine Entrepreneur group, and we offer our services to anybody who posts questions. So if you have any questions in that group, please feel free to ask. And, you know, like I said, myself and Steph are in there. We answer questions as needed. And the last thing is, I think I mentioned to you guys about the monthly socials that we do. Stepha normally attends the ones and helps host the ones that are in New York. So
yeah, if you guys are in New York City, please come. We have a ball. Seriously, we have a good time.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we are officially 3 minutes over. This is the longest one I've done. So I really thank you again for coming on, Stepha. It's been a pleasure, and I really look forward to seeing you in about a month's time, so that
we'll scope. We'll do like a nice scope together in LA.
Oh, yeah, scope near the water, right? Santa Monica Pier.
Okay, awesome. So I will see you then. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, thank you. Bye y'all. See you next week.